You can work on your business all day and still do absolutely nothing that grows it. Let me give you a few examples. You answer emails, adjust your logo, rewrite your bio, organize your Notion board, watch 3 videos about productivity, ask AI to create a better strategy. Then you reach the end of the day exhausted, but your revenue, customer list, and opportunities look exactly the same. Sound familiar? Listen, that doesn't mean the work was useless. It means you may be confusing motion with momentum. In the last 2 videos, we talked about rebuilding self trust and overcoming the internal resistance that keeps you from starting. But once you're ready to take action, another problem appears. Which action should you take? Because doing the wrong thing faster is not momentum, it's really efficient distraction. And by the end of this video, I'm going to give you a simple process called the move filter. It'll help you identify the real bottleneck in your business, choose the action most likely to change something, and begin that action before the day is over. So, this was my recent realization. I had to confront this in my own business. Recently, I've been rebuilding some important foundational assets. I separated my personal portfolio from my Question Everything business website. I worked on new logos. I clarified my service offers. I started building a team. All of that work mattered, but there was a legitimate foundation that needed to be built. So eventually I had to ask myself an uncomfortable question. What action is most likely to change the condition of my business right now? I wasn't choosing another font, publishing another page, or creating another complicated strategy. I was making an offer to a real business owner. That's what would change. And that didn't mean the foundation that I did, like the foundational work that I did, was unnecessary. It meant that the foundation needed to lead somewhere. So you can polish the runway forever and never take off. And sometimes, especially when you're creative, foundational work becomes a respectable hiding place. You feel productive because you're working, but you have not allowed your work to come into contact with the market. No one's seen the offer, responded, rejected it, or bought it. So you remain busy, but protected. Now, would you like for me to explain the difference between motion and momentum? Great. So motion means you're expending energy, and momentum means the condition of the business is changing. Motion can look like researching, planning, designing, organizing, learning, brainstorming. And yes, all of those activities can be useful. But momentum creates a change you can observe. A prospect responds, a customer purchases, an assumption gets disproven, an offer becomes clearer, a delivery problem gets fixed, a client gets better results, a recurring task will get removed from your calendar. And the difference is not whether the work feels difficult. The difference is whether it moves the current constraint. And that word matters, constraint. Quick sidebar. Did you know that Dr. Seuss actually wrote his books with a constraint of 50 words or less? Look it up. So every business has one primary point where progress is getting stuck. If you work everywhere except that point, you may improve the appearance of the business without improving the business itself. So how do we find the bottlenecks? All right, so imagine with me, water is moving through a pipe. If one section of the pipe is blocked, increasing the pressure everywhere else does not solve the problem. You have to address the blockage. Your business works the same way. So now I'll share with you 5 common business bottlenecks, starting with bottleneck number 1, not enough conversations. People cannot buy an offer they have never heard about. And if you have no qualified conversations, your problem is probably not your checkout page. It's demand, visibility, or outreach. And so your highest leverage action may be calling 5 past contacts, sending 3 direct messages, requesting 2 introductions, inviting 1 person to a discovery conversation, publishing content that addresses a specific buyer problem, not redesigning your entire website. And now bottleneck number 2. People may be confused. Maybe people are seeing your work, but they do not understand what you sell. You explain everything you can do, your history, your certifications, your process, your 17 interests, and the buyer is still asking, but what exactly would you help me with? See, a vague offer creates vague interest. And if people are confused, Your highest leverage action may be simplifying who you help, what painful problem you solve, what result you create, and what the next step is. If those aren't crystal clear, your problem may not be visibility. More people seeing a confusing offer only creates confusion at scale. So, bottleneck number 3, people show interest, but they do not buy. So, you're getting conversations. People say, "That sounds amazing. You should definitely do that. Keep me posted," but no one's paying. So, your bottleneck may be conversion. And the highest leverage action in this case may be making a direct offer, following up with some warm leads, asking why someone did not move forward, improving the proof, maybe clarify the price, reduce the risk, create a simpler first step. Do not confuse compliments with customers. Encouragement is wonderful, but applause does not process through Stripe. Okay, bottleneck number 4. People buy, but delivery is broken. So maybe you already have customers, but the work's taking too long. Every project is custom. You repeat the same explanations. Clients don't know what happens next. You are becoming the bottleneck. And in that season, more leads may actually make the business worse. So the highest leverage action, maybe creating an onboarding checklist, documenting a repeatable process, setting clearer boundaries, delegating a recurring task, automating one proven workflow, or narrowing the scope of the offer. Because growth without capacity is just a really profitable nervous breakdown. Okay, and bottleneck number 5, your clients are not getting or recognizing the result you give them. So maybe people buy, but they don't finish, they don't renew, they don't refer others or give testimonials. And that may be a delivery, accountability, or time to value problem. But in this case, the highest leverage action you can take is interviewing your past customers, maybe improving the first week experience, defining the promised result more clearly, adding an accountability checkpoint, maybe removing unnecessary content, helping the client get a visible and early win. Because think about it. A customer cannot celebrate a transformation that they cannot recognize, and they cannot refer what they don't understand. This is important. The highest leverage action is not always the thing closest to money. Sometimes it's the action closest to truth. And if you do not know what people want, a customer conversation may be more valuable than building the product. If you don't know whether the offer works, selling a small pilot may be more valuable than recording the entire course. And if customers are leaving, understanding why may be more valuable than finding 10 new ones. If you're drowning in delivery, documenting your process may be more valuable than publishing another video. So the best action is the one that addresses the current bottleneck, not the action that sounds most entrepreneurial. Now we get to the move filter. So here's the process. MOVE. M, name the meaningful result. And this is what you should ask yourself. What result must change over the next 30 days? Choose one, not 5. Not, I want to grow my business. That's not a result. Choose something observable. Book 5 qualified conversations. Sell 3 pilot packages. Publish 4 targeted videos. Reduce delivery time by, 15, 20%. Get 3 clients through onboarding successfully. Collect 5 customer interviews, because a clear result gives your attention somewhere to land. And when everything matters, nothing receives enough focused energy to change. Okay, now O. Identify the obstacle. So to identify that obstacle, you have to ask, what is currently preventing that result? And don't automatically blame motivation, the algorithm, or the economy. It's tempting, I know, but look at what's actually happening. If you want 5 sales, ask, do enough people know about the offer? Do they understand it? Do they believe it? Have I directly asked them to buy? Can they easily complete the purchase? If you want more content-driven leads, ask, is the content addressing a real buyer problem? Is the right audience seeing it? And is there a clear next step? Is there a path working from the video to the offer? locate the blockage before prescribing the solution. Otherwise, you're treating a broken leg with cough syrup. Organized cough syrup, but still wrong. All right, now V. Validate it in reality. Validating it. Yeah, validating it in reality. So, what action will put my assumption in contact with a real person, real behavior, or real data? And this is where founders often retreat into preparation again. You think people want a course, but have you offered the course? You may think your price is too high. Okay. Has a qualified prospect actually rejected the price? Maybe you think your audience wants more educational content, but have you checked which content generates conversations? And this is the big one. Everyone thinks the website is the problem, but have buyers told you they were confused by it? Most of them aren't telling you that. See, validation requires contact with reality, and that can mean making the offer, interviewing a buyer, sending a prototype, asking for feedback, reviewing your sales calls, testing your message. Watch someone use your product. You'd be surprised what you'd find out. See, the market is a better thought partner than your imagination or any kind of AI model. And then finally, E, execute and create evidence. So now you ask, what's the smallest meaningful version I can complete within 24 hours? Not the smallest action that lets you feel productive. The smallest action that creates that evidence. And there is a difference. Opening a blank email is small, but it produces no evidence. Sending the email does. Writing down 3 prospects is small, but contacting one produces evidence. And creating a sales page draft, that's useful, but putting the offer in front of a buyer creates evidence. So you're looking for a completed loop. Action, response, learning, adjustment. That loop right there is going to create more momentum than anything else you can do. So now I want to give you something. Well, first, I want to acknowledge, I know that this sounds hard, and you probably already have a lot on your plate. So when you have several tasks competing for your attention, this is what I want you to do. I want you to ask these 4 questions. 1, does this task touch an actual, real person? Does it create a conversation with a prospect, customer, partner, or team member? 2, does it create money or new information? Will it generate revenue, test an assumption, or reveal what to do next? 3, does it address the current bottleneck? Or is it improving an area that's already working well enough? And then 4, will it make future action easier? Does it create a reusable process, proof, asset, relationship, or system? The strongest tasks often answer yes to at least 3 of those questions. So let's compare some examples. Redesigning your logo may answer 0 or 1. Interviewing 5 ideal clients could answer 3. Recording an entire course before ever making an offer might answer 1. Selling a pilot before building the course could answer all 4. Creating 20 random social posts, it may answer 1. Creating 1 video around a problem your buyers are repeatedly asking about with a direct next step, that could answer all 4. And automating a process you've never delivered manually, it may answer 1, but documenting that process you have successfully repeated 10 times will answer all 3 or 4. The moral of the story is leverage is not about doing more. It is about choosing the action that changes the most with the least wasted effort. Now, here's what I want you to do when this video ends. Set a timer for 25 minutes. And during that time, let's say minutes 1 through 5, write down the 1 result that must change in the next 30 days. Minutes 6 through 10, identify the current bottleneck. Is it demand, clarity, conversion, delivery, retention? And then minutes 11 through 15, list 3 actions that could address that bottleneck. Minutes 16 through 20, run each action through the 4-question task test. Does it touch a real person? Does it create money or information? Does it address the bottleneck? And does it make a future action easier? Minutes 21 through 25, begin the highest scoring action. Send the message. schedule the conversation, publish the offer, request that feedback, create an onboarding step. Don't use the final 5 minutes to make the plan prettier. Go touch reality. Now, I'll give you a few examples. If you don't have customers, don't spend the week automating fulfillment. Talk to people. If you have conversations but no one buys, don't assume you need more followers. Clarify the offer and make a direct ask. If people buy but delivery is chaotic, do not launch another offer. Fix your experience. And if you need help with that, reach out. If your customers get results but no one knows, do not create another theoretical post. Document the result and tell that story. If you're creating content but you're not getting any leads, don't automatically post more. Examine your audience, topic, offer, and the conversion path. And if you're unclear about your niche, do not sit alone trying to think your way into certainty. Review the problems people already ask you to solve, talk to those people, and make them a small offer. Let reality help you refine the answer. And so your 24-hour move before watching any more videos is to complete this sentence. The result I need is, the current bottleneck is, the action that will create the most evidence is, and I will complete it by. Then do it within 24 hours. Don't pick 7 things, pick the move. You can be faithful to a large vision by taking responsibility for one clear action today. That's stewardship. Not trying to carry the whole future at once, just doing the work that belongs in this moment right here. Now, this is the kind of work we practice live inside Greater University. We're not talking about goals. We're identifying what's actually blocking progress. We challenge the beliefs underneath the avoidance, we simplify the next move, and we create accountability around completing it. If you're a founder or entrepreneur who's tired of being busy without knowing whether you're moving, you can join us through the link below. But whether you join or not, complete your move before you consume another answer, because clarity without action becomes another form of entertainment. And remember, you don't need to solve every problem in your business today. You need to identify the one problem currently restricting the rest. Name the meaningful result. Find the obstacle. Validate your assumption. Execute on the moves. Motion consumes energy, but momentum changes your position. So be honest about which one you created today. And for many early stage founders, the highest leverage action is making an offer. But that creates another question. How do you explain what you sell so clearly that the right person immediately understands why it matters? And in the next video, I'll walk you through 6 questions that turn a vague idea into a clear offer in just 20 minutes. Watch that next.